Hello, I'm Amy the Bunny Lady, and this is my partner Elusive, Ellie for short. High five. Good job, good job. And today we are going to go over how to make sure your young rabbit has a healthy diet. If you are new to my channel, welcome. We go over tips and tricks for how to make sure you have a happy and healthy bunny in your home. So if that's the kind of thing that you're interested, then feel free to hit the subscription button and the notification bell so you never miss any of our weekly videos. So about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer, I made a video about how to transition a young rabbit to an adult rabbit diet. I've actually been making a lot of videos about how to make sure your rabbit has a healthy adult diet because that is one of the most important parts of rabbit care. But I've never made a video about how to make sure your young rabbit has a healthy diet. So that's what this is for. First, I want to quickly mention baby bunnies. So baby bunnies that are less than 2 months old or 8 weeks should not be adopted out to people. They need to stay with their mom. In fact, it's illegal in many states and even in some countries. So that's definitely something that you want to be aware of before you go and adopt a rabbit. Most shelters will be what you doing? Most shelters will be aware of this and will not try to adopt out baby bunnies. But I guess every once in a while you might find a shelter that is not, and that's just something that you can let them know if they're not aware of. Because maybe they're just used to puppies and kittens and don't know the rules for baby bunnies. The reason that it is really bad to separate a baby bunny from their mom before 8 weeks is there's actually a number of reasons. One, there's basically no other milk substitute that can give baby bunnies, what they need in terms of the nutritional content of mother rabbit milk. Second, baby bunnies also depend on the enzymes and antibodies in their mother's milk to start building up their own digestive system and immune system. So being separated too early can mean that rabbit has a very sensitive digestive system, and they also have less protection against diseases and such. They're more likely to get sick in general, even as they grow and reach adulthood. So unless you are a responsible breeder or you are working to rescue abandoned or orphaned baby bunnies, then you really should not be dealing with bunnies that are under 2 months or 8 weeks of age. So let's start talking about a healthy young rabbit diet for between the ages of 2 to 6 months. After 6 months, you'll want to start transitioning them to an adult diet, and I do have a video going over all the details about that transition, so that's something that you can check out. But if you just brought a new little bunny home and you want to know what is the best diet for them right now, then this video is for you. So when thinking about a young rabbit diet, it's important to remember that young bunnies are growing bunnies, and they have much different nutritional needs than adult rabbits. They also have a slightly more sensitive digestive system than older rabbits, so we do need to be a little bit more careful about how we introduce new foods to young rabbits. First, let's talk about hay in a young rabbit's diet. Now, for adult rabbits, this is absolutely the most important part, but for young rabbits, it's still necessary and important to make sure that they're eating their hay, but it is not necessarily the end-all be-all of their diet. In terms of how much of their diet should be hay, you probably want it to be about half of what your rabbit is eating on a daily basis, but the percentage isn't actually quite as important as it is with adult rabbits. As long as your rabbit is eating some hay on a daily basis, then you're doing okay and your rabbit will be able to grow just fine. The pellets are actually kind of more important for a young rabbit. For the type of hay that you want to feed your rabbit, you actually want to feed them alfalfa hay. Now for adult rabbits, you want to feed them Timothy hay because it is much higher in fiber and it is rougher to help their teeth a little bit more. But for young rabbits, alfalfa hay is better because it's got a higher calcium and protein content. Now these are not necessarily great for older rabbits because they can end up causing fast weight gain. But of course, young rabbits are gaining weight because they're growing and it's healthy. So alfalfa hay is better for young rabbits. Now that's not to say they can't have other types of hay, but you want the main type of hay that you give your rabbit to be alfalfa hay. Now let's talk about pellets in a young rabbit diet. This is the part that is actually the most different from an adult rabbit. Because young rabbits are still growing, the much more concentrated nutrients that are found in pellets are actually really good for promoting that healthy growth. Just like with the hay, you want to give rabbits the alfalfa pellets instead of the timothy-based pellets. So you want to look at the ingredients on the back of your pellet bag to make sure that the number one ingredient on the list is alfalfa hay or alfalfa grass. That way you'll know that it's the right type of pellets for your young rabbit. In terms of amounts, many guides will actually say that you can give your young rabbit unlimited pellets, and I agree to an extent. It is important to make sure that your young rabbit is still also eating their hay, and sometimes giving them an unlimited supply of pellets will mean that they'll just end up completely ignoring their hay. So you want to be careful and watch your rabbit's behavior to make sure that you're not giving them so many pellets that they are foregoing their hay also. It's good to make sure that they're eating their hay because once you have to transition them to their adult hay-based diet, they won't protest quite as much. But also it is still good for their teeth and digestion to make sure they have those higher fiber pieces of parts of their diet than the pellets. However, the nutrient-dense composition of pellets are actually very good for young rabbits, and you do want to make sure that they're eating a lot of them. If your rabbit is still eating their hay, then you can pretty much give them an unlimited supply of pellets and it is okay. If your rabbit is only eating the pellets and completely refusing to eat the hay, then you do want to limit them a little bit. So you'll want to give your rabbit about a quarter cup for every 2 pounds that they weigh. Now this is approximately double of what you would give an adult rabbit. And this doesn't have to be completely exact. It's just a way to limit the pellets in your rabbit's diet so that you can also encourage them to eat their hay. You want to make sure that your rabbit is eating both their pellets and their hay so that you can make sure that they have healthy teeth and digestion while also having a healthy growth during this time of their life. Now let's talk about leafy greens. Young rabbits should be getting less leafy greens than their adult counterparts. When they're about 3 months old, you want to start introducing leafy greens to your rabbit, and you want to make sure that you give them only a little bit at a time. So first start introducing just one type of green, whatever kind you want to give them, and just a little bit, like maybe a sprig or two on the first day, and then a sprig or two on the second day, and you can slowly increase it over the next couple days. And then you can start to introduce another type of leafy green, but you want to make sure you only introduce one type at a time because young rabbits do have a much more sensitive digestive system than older rabbits, so you really do want to be careful during this process. And by the time they are about 4 months old, you can give them approximately a half a cup of leafy greens per day for every 2.5 pounds that they weigh. Now this is significantly less than adult rabbits, but it is still, something that you want to consider as a percentage of their daily diet. You do still want to make sure that your rabbits' main foods are still the healthy pellets and the healthy hay. As far as treats go for young rabbits, you for the most part want to avoid them. Since young rabbits have a more sensitive digestive system, it's really not the greatest idea to be giving them a lot of these sugary foods that can cause an imbalance in their gut. I'm not going to blame you if you end up giving your rabbit a little piece of something sweet every once in a while, but just make sure that it is not very often because it really is not great for young rabbit digestion. You can start to introduce these yummy treats and figure out what your rabbit's favorite are after they reach 6 months old and as they reach adulthood. To get around this rule for young rabbits, what you can actually do is give your rabbit leafy greens as treats. So instead, when you want to give your rabbit a treat, you can give them like a basil leaf or a little sprig of parsley, and that can be how you give treats to your rabbit. That way it is much healthier and less likely to cause digestive problems than giving them sweet or sugary fruits and vegetables as treats. If you want more information about what a healthy rabbit adult diet would look like, I do have a Rabbit Diet 101 video for you. It goes into all the details about how to make sure your adult rabbit is on a healthy and balanced diet. So even though you have a young rabbit right now, for most of their life they're going to be on an adult diet, so it can be really useful to have that information on hand so you can be prepared for your young rabbit's future. If you have found this information useful, then please feel free to hit that subscription button and give this video a thumbs up, because that really is very helpful. And thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you next week.